been a little while. I apologize. We have a nice descending ladder for you today, which encompasses 3 different movements. Now let me talk about the sequence of the workout first, then we'll dig into kind of the stimulus and the volume, and then we'll discuss each of the movements and some scaling options. So the sequence for this workout is to perform 50 deadlifts, followed by 50 sit-ups. You'll then perform 20 renegade rows. You'll then perform 40 deadlifts and 40 sit-ups, followed by 20 renegade rows. Then 30 deadlifts, 30 sit-ups, followed by 20 renegade rows, 20 deadlifts, 20 sit-ups, followed by 20 renegade rows, and lastly 10 deadlifts, 10 sit-ups, followed by 20 renegade rows. Thus, you'll perform 20 renegade rows after each set of deadlifts and sit-ups. Now, this is a very high volume workout. You're looking at the deadlifts and sit-ups encompassing 150 reps each, so 300 total repetitions there, as well as 20 renegade rows between each set, which is 100 repetitions. So you're looking at 400 total reps across the board. Pretty high volume. So off the bat, do not be afraid to decrease the reps. What this could look like, for example, is starting off with a descending ladder of maybe 30, 20, 10, 10, 10. Or perhaps you keep it consistent across the board and perform 20 reps of everything for all 5 sets. So be creative with this, make it challenging, but it shouldn't be something that takes you all day. Really, we're looking for this to be completed in under 16 to 18 minutes, okay? Now, first we'll talk about the movements as they're prescribed, and then we'll dig into some of the body weight options. So the first thing we have is the dumbbell or kettlebell deadlift. Let's look at 2 reps. 1, 2, relax. So what we're looking for in the deadlift, and we've described this a little bit before, we'll turn to the side here, is that the athlete is going to bend over to grab the dumbbells. They're going to have some knee flexion, so a slight bend in the knee and a nice flat back. After the first repetition, we're just looking for the athlete to squeeze the butt and stand. But after the first repetition, only the lower dumbbell head needs to touch the ground. So only one head of the dumbbell touches the ground. The athlete will send the hips back and the shoulders forward, and then bend the knees until one head of the dumbbell touches the ground. Keep the dumbbells pulled back towards the body. Don't let them come out in front of you as you're performing this, but pull them back so that the dumbbell aligns with the leg, all right? Now in the bottom position and throughout this movement, can you move? Go down. We want a nice flat back position, so pull the shoulder blades back nice and tight and keep that chest upright throughout the duration of this movement. Relax. Now we can always perform this with one dumbbell, and if that's the case, just switch arms halfway through, or switch arms as you see fit. We then have the sit-up. What we're looking for in the sit-up, ideally, is that those feet are butterfly. That way we're going to maximize the demand on the core and eliminate the use of the hip flexors. And then just watch your head behind you and your hands. We're going to sit all the way back until the shoulder blades touch the ground and the hands will touch the floor behind us. And then we're going to use those arms as momentum to sit up all the way until the base of the neck is above the base of the spine. All right, we're going to have Lisa just move that forward a little bit, and let's watch 2 reps at speed. 1, 2. All right. Now to scale this, we can anchor the feet under a sofa or under a dumbbell. So that's going to be bringing the feet up into that normal stance, and then just anchor them under a weight or a sofa, for example. But just keep in mind that this will incorporate the hip flexors, so your legs will get a little more wear and tear. So after you perform the deadlift and the sit-up, you have renegade rows between each set. Let's look at what the renegade row looks like. Some of you familiar with this, before you start, some of you familiar with this may have seen the renegade row with a push-up. We're going to eliminate the push-up for today, and we're only going to focus on the pulling aspect. So let's watch 2 reps. 1, and then 2, and she's pulling with her left arm there, if you can't see. Relax. Head back down for me, though. Just relax in the bottom. So you're not really relaxing. So what we're looking at, the athlete's in a kind of a plank position with the shoulders and the hips kind of aligned with each other. Shoulder blades are pulled back. And we're going to stay in this plank position with the hips and the shoulders square to the ground. We can widen the feet slightly to give us some balance, somewhere around 12 to 18 inches. And then all we're looking for now is we're looking for the athlete to pull one dumbbell at a time right around the lower part of the pecs. So pull, so elbow comes up, I'll hold this. Notice that that dumbbell is right aligned with the lower part of the pec, and we're looking, again, for her hips and shoulders to stay square. So what I don't want to see, and do this without the dumbbell, but pull, I don't want to see those hips opening up and facing forward, okay? So keep the hips square to the ground. Now you're performing 20 of these, but one arm is 1 rep, so it's 10 on each arm. And just like the deadlifts and sit-ups where we can decrease the reps, we can do that here as well. Perhaps we only do 10 total, so 5 per arm. All right. Now, those are the movements with weight. If we don't have weight, or we're going to sub in weight here and there, what we'll be doing with the deadlift is a single leg deadlift, or a single leg good morning. Step out here a little bit. That's going to look like this. Each leg is going to be 1 rep. 1. A little faster at speed, come on. 2. Easy, ooh, losing balance there a little bit. So each leg is 1 rep. You can alternate if you need to, or you can perform a set number on one leg and then switch to the other. Here's some key things we're looking for though. As the athlete's going to hinge at the hip, keeping one leg planted at the ground. That leg that's planted, let's keep the right leg planted, is going to have a slight bend in the knee, and then that other leg is going to come up, be as straight as possible as the athlete hinges forward. We're going to still maintain that nice flat back. We're going to feel tension in the hamstring. Notice that its knee is just slightly bent, and then this back leg, we want the heel, knee, hip, and shoulder all aligned with each other, and this foot is just pointed down, all right? Just a natural kind of natural flexion. Then you're going to squeeze the butt to stand up. And this can be performed as rapidly as possible. You're going to focus a lot on balance, coordination, but also strength for sure. Now your limit of how far you go is going to be dependent on your hamstring tension. So we don't want to round the back at all. So those of us that are really, really tight, we may not have much of a horizontal torso, but we may be upright a little bit more, and that's fine. Again, you can always decrease the reps here. But the reps are going to be, for example, for the first set, if we do decide to do 50 total reps, that's 50 total with this, so 25 on each leg. The sit-ups we're going to keep the same, but the renegade rows, if we don't have weight or we don't want to use weight, we're going to do what's called a shoulder tap. This is going to really focus again on core strength as well as coordination and some balance. Let's watch 4 repetitions of the shoulder tap. 1, 2, 3, 4. Relax. So each arm is a repetition, just like our renegade row. Let's get set back up here. So similar to our renegade row, we're looking for the back to be nice and flat, hips and shoulders aligned with each other. Those feet can be a little wider still. And now all we're doing, again, we're trying to keep the hips and shoulders square to the floor. We're just bringing one hand up to either touch the same shoulder or the opposite, whatever you're most comfortable with. Squeeze the butt nice and tight, and that'll help to maintain that balance. Now, if these are simple, let's go a little slower, and that'll just require a little more coordination. Additionally, for an extra challenge, can you head back down? What we can do is, if maybe we don't have weight, but these shoulder taps are a little simple, we can lift the opposite leg and opposite arm, and that's going to look like this. 1, 2, 3, and relax. Good, and we're still trying to keep those hips and shoulders square. She wasn't ready for that. I just threw that one in on the fly. But that's a great, it's similar to a bird dog for those that are familiar with that movement, and it requires a lot more coordination and balance. So those are the movements that we have. Decreasing ladder, again, deadlifts will be really focusing on the posterior muscles, hamstrings and glutes predominantly. Sit-ups will be getting after that core, and then the renegade rows will be focusing on that pulling motion, so our upper back, our triceps, and even our lats. Hit us up if you have any questions. Let us know how you do, and have fun.